Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at how to do our green screen in Premiere Pro. So I'm going to go to the top left here. I'm going to click on New Project. And inside here, I'm going to do my initials, DB underscore, and I'm just going to call this project GS for green screen. And I'm going to do underscore P3 for period 3. I'm going to go to the far bottom right. I'm going to click Create. And yes, I'm going to replace it because I already created something like this. So here we are in Premiere Pro. We've got our 4 areas here that we work in, plus we have Lumetri Color up right now. I'm going to go to the bottom left in the project panel. I'm going to press Command-I to import. I'm going to import these 2 pieces of footage, and we're going to start to key them and make them work. I also want to bring in some backgrounds, so I'm going to double click in here, and I downloaded a few from the internet, so let me grab these. You can also go and grab them anywhere you find, just find pictures that you want to bring in. So you can do stuff like that. So I'll leave those 3 to play with for now, and we'll take a look at how to use them all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is grab this first piece of footage, which is a video of my son in class, and we were doing some green screen work. So I'm going to drag his video down to the new item icon to make it simple and click it, let go of it. And there it is. And so now, if I just play this through, he's there punching. This is the messy little room that we have our green screen set up in. So if you have a situation where you're shooting at home or whatever and the background's messy, but you just have your green screen popped up, it's easy to fix by adding the crop tool. So we're going to go down to the project panel area, but we're going to go to effects here. We're going to type in the word crop, and that brings up this crop effect that we're going to drag onto our footage. I'll make the footage a little longer. And now I've got crop on here. I can go to the effects controls up on the top left, and I can see here is crop. So I'm going to start cropping this. I'm going to crop it from the left first by sliding this over, and that's cropped. I'm going to crop the top because I don't want to see that. So we'll just go down. You want to kind of go as close as you can to the person without cutting off their head or their arm. I can see my son swings here. Let me see. Yeah, he's still in frame the whole time. Okay, cool. We're going to go to the right now, and I'm going to drag this over. And now this is my basis for my green screen. I'm going to leave the bottom alone because the bottom's fine. Now, down into the timeline here, I'm going to click on the footage and just drag it up 1 level. So we're on video layer 2. Because once we do the keying of this, we want underneath to be shining through the background. So we want to work like this, top down. Okay, so I've got this selected. I'm going to go to the left here once again into the effects panel. I'm going to get rid of crop. I'm going to type in the word ultra for ultra key. And I'm going to drag that onto the footage. And now back up here in the effects controls, I can see all this stuff. And I'm ready to start using ultra key. I'm going to click this little eyedropper tool, and we're going to click in the green here. And there I've got him keyed out, but I can see there's some problems here. So I'm going to try and redo that. I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to click on it 1 more time. And now I'm going to choose this green. And that's still not good. So it might take you a couple tries to figure out where your key is going to be from. I'll try something a little lower here. So I like this a lot better. I'm going to go now into matte generation. And before I do the fixes that I want to do, the way I can test this is I can go into this mode here that says composite. So currently we're looking at the composite mode. But if I go down 1 to alpha channel, now I can see everything that's white here is going to be seen in the video, and everything that is black or gray is supposed to be see-through. So we want this to be pure black and pure white. So I'm going to do my highlights here. I'll mess around with, actually we'll mess around with the transparency first, because I do see a little spot here that I want to fix up. So that would be totally see-through. So I'm going to slide it to the left a little bit until I can get rid of everything. And there, now all of his stuff is gone. So that looks good. We'll bring this over here a little bit to make it look bigger. Next I'm going to go into my highlights and see what I can do with that. So if I bring down the highlights to 0, you saw we had it a little darker. Let's see what the shadows do. I don't want to mess with the shadows too much because it's making things be seen again. So let me see if I go back down to here. Whoop, shadow on his head. I'll leave that alone. Then I'm going to use something down here called the pedestal. So let's see what the pedestal will do for us. So that is really good. You can see we got rid of most of it. There's a little bit right here, and I'm going to see if my cropping, let me see if I move it around. I'm going to leave it right here for a second, and then I'm going to go back to my composite view, and I'm going to go into crop once again, and I wonder if I can crop a little bit more of the right side. To see if I can get rid of some of that. So that's him right there. Let me see what that does. If I move him around a little bit, that's way better. You can see that we're going to see this little fuzziness in here. And that, the reason for that is lighting. There was too much light that was on top of this. And I believe someone probably touched the lighting in the green screen room. Maybe it was the news team or something to move it around a little bit. So there's going to be times where this happens, and you've got to just figure out a way to make it work. It's not always going to be exactly perfect. Hopefully it will sometimes, but not always will you have a perfect key. So let's leave that alone for now. Let's go back to composite, or to alpha. So one of the things I could do, though, is to keep trying to find the right color. And now I've got it down below. So that's actually interesting because I've moved, I haven't changed any of my generation, my matte generation stuff down here that I used. But I got rid, if I start to move it around, I got rid of the stuff up here and moved it down there. So that's actually more workable for me because I can now scale and get rid of the bottom part. So if I go to the top where it says video motion effects, if I go to scale and I make this bigger, I can get rid of that now. So that looks really clean. And let me go back into this composite view. And if we scroll back to 1 and we start to play, that looks very, very clean. So I'm probably going to have to use it this way. So sometimes you got to make adjustments like that. And that's some stuff that I want you guys to try and learn and do. Okay, so now I've got his green screen all keyed. I'm going to go back into my project panel and pick something in the background. So I'll start out with this really cool traffic lights thing, and we'll just put it here. And we'll go back, and there it is. And there he is. And since this is a small layer right there, I mean, it's a small piece of footage, I'm probably going to have to Command C, Command V, Command V. So I'm going to make this so that there's enough footage here. And then I'm going to trim the end of it. And now let's see what that looks like. So I've got him back there like that. Okay. So now let's get rid of that footage. Let's try this blue one. And that's kind of interesting. Command C, Command V, Command V. And I'm just going to drag it back a little bit. Okay. And let's play that once again. 1, 2, 3. There you go. So he's got all this cool stuff. So you can put any layer back here. It doesn't have to be video. It could be a piece of a photo that you bring in and you scale up. I mean, you can bring anything you want into this. I'm going to bring in this little piece of footage I have here of a revolving door. And now I see that it's a little too small. So if I click on it and I can scale that up. Okay. So now I see that my son's in front of this revolving door. And if I play the footage, he's standing right in front of the door while it's revolving. Okay, let me turn off this audio here by hitting the mute button, or M, so don't keep hearing me count. And there he is right there. Looks fun. And that's how you do keying. Now, the next step from this would be if I wanted to add an adjustment layer to create some color correcting on it. I could do stuff like that. So I can do an adjustment layer here, bring it over, whoops, on top, do that, go into basic correction, sorry, and maybe I want to do this LUT here. That's a little too bright. Let's see, what do we have? Oops, I want to browse. Let's see, let's do this stuff here. No. Let's you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make this all black and white. Where's my black and white? Right here. Saturation. So now I've got this all black and white. So it looks like it's one piece of footage, and he literally could be standing in front of that. If I wanted to do some even more fun things, I can go into my effects panel and type in blur. And inside of the blur, if I scroll down to where it says Gaussian blur, if I drag that onto the background, my two revolving doors, now I can slightly blur that. So let's blur just a little hair. So that's super blurred. But let's just blur it a tiny, tiny bit to give it that effect that we were filming with a camera that was focused on him. So that looks a little more realistic, right? So you can see how you can start playing with this stuff and really change the way things look and put yourself into situations. I mean, this could be, we could be in London right now for all you know, filming a video, you know, in front of this building. So that's the fun thing about doing stuff with green screen, with color correction, with backgrounds, and that's how you do it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video.